Welcome to this UND Insider Weekly Extra. I'm Tim Hennessy, joined by UND Athletic Director Brian Faison. Brian, a big season coming up, another year. Yeah, you ho-hum, right? Last year certainly wasn't ho-hum. I think we should take an opportunity here and look back a little bit on last year, just kind of get people into it again.
Yeah, it was.
We come off the summer.
It was an amazing year. It really was, and we've got some outstanding young people representing the University of North Dakota across the board in all of our sports programs. Some great coaches, but it was a year that saw record academic performance by our student athletes. That saw us rise to the level in competition again, and certainly in community service they were off the charts again. So fantastic.
Well, let's go to that academic. 60 perfect 4.0 GPAs last fall semester. I mean, really, when you talk about that, you're talking about coaches and the job they have to do to select athletes, student athletes to come in that are good students as well. I mean, it really falls on them, doesn't it?
Yeah, and everybody, if they don't know, they should know this is a tremendous institution at the University of North Dakota. It's a great education. It's not an easy go, and they have to step up and be ready to face that academic challenge. And the coaches have to be a part of that. We've got a great academic support unit within the athletic department. And they do a fantastic job working with the student athletes. But at the end of the day, it's student athletes have to have the focus and discipline and need to come in ready to get after it. And that's the type of person the coach goes after.
Brian, on a daily basis, what do some of these academic counselors, what are they actually doing for these students?
I think it'll vary, and everybody's at a little different level of need. I suspect there's a little more interaction with freshmen than there will be later. Certainly helping them decide and determine where they want to be as far as a major is concerned. One of the issues we run into in athletics now with the NCAA is satisfactory progress and percentage towards the degree requirements, which are good actually, but you have to settle in and get after things pretty quickly now, as opposed to when I was in school, or maybe you were in school.
Underwater basket
Well, 1868 was going back a little ways, but it's a good thing, and so they'll counsel on that, help them make the kind of decisions based on their interests and their skill sets. If they need some study hall, they'll coordinate with our academic study hall. If they need some tutoring assistance in a particular class, they'll work on that. Probably the biggest thing they do is they know what the athlete's schedule's like in a given semester and how to make that match up with the classwork that they have to take. It's for example, volleyball would be ready to tip it up here pretty quick, and their fall is very, very involved with travel. Spring, not so much. So if you have certain types of courses in classwork, particularly lab work, a lot easier to do that in the spring. So they work with the student athletes to make sure they're on track, and at the same time matching them up so they can compete the best in the classroom.
Student athlete schedules I can't understand how anybody can get through it, let alone get through it with a 4.0, but then you throw in community service, and you talk about, 8,000 hours of community service? What kind of things are they doing?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Everything from reading in classrooms to being involved with all different manner of Special Olympics opportunities in town, and a lot of different outreach programs. I think it's really important for our student athletes to learn the value of service, and hopefully they'll take that with them, Tim, when they move on in their adult life. But within this community, with the great job the community does supporting us, need to give back. And it's always fun watching them the first time they have to go out, particularly if they're going to a class. I don't want to go. They get out there, they're treated like gods, they love it, and then they just can't get enough. So we're very appreciative of the fact that our student athletes are willing to step up. Time-wise, it's an additional demand on their time, but they make it work.
Some highlights certainly on the court, on the ice, on the field, whatever from last year would be. One of the top ones would be the NCAA tournament appearance of the women's basketball team, the first ever, and Travis Brewster doing the two-step or whatever it was down here.
Dancing with Mrs. Kelly, that's right. He was the real dance, the big dance. Yeah, it was a fantastic run, and boy, we watched a little film after the season, just working on a report for the president. There are times when we were scary good. It was awesome, but to do what they did to get that regular season championship, and then to win the conference tournament here on their home court and win it convincingly. It was just something special. But then to go to Texas A&M, which was a team that'd been in the Final Four 2 years earlier, very experienced. In fact, they ended up, I think, in the Elite Eight. To go into that environment, Texas A&M, great place to play basketball, great place to play football. It's just a great atmosphere down there. To go in there and do what they did, I mean, we're down 8 with, 2 minutes to play. It was fun. It was a point in time, and they went on a couple runs. I think they got up 26 or 27 points at some point. But there was a point in the first half where there was a timeout, and you could have heard a pin drop, and I'm thinking, yeah, yeah. So it was great, and Maddie Buck was what an unbelievable player, our first All-American Division I era for women's basketball, and for Coach Brewster, only his second year at the helm to take him to the championship.
Volleyball won a Big Sky Conference championship. We weren't able to get it done in the conference tournament, but certainly a feather in the cap.
Right,
for the
only second year in the league,
yeah.
and to be in there and to get a regular season championship, hats off to Coach Ashley and that team.
And the men's basketball team, it's going to be a battle every year, and you see how that comes. At their time will come, I would guess, finishing second again the Big Sky Conference tournament and one step away from an NCAA tournament berth. You almost had men and women in the basketball tournament.
Yeah, and that would have been...
You might as well retire.
Yeah,
after something like that,
that's pretty much, I don't know what else you do. And then if we could get both men's and women's ice hockey doing the same things at the same time. We got 4 teams, and we almost had 4 teams in postseason play. Our staff's not that big,
wow.
But you know what? That's a great problem to have. And Coach Jones has done a great job with this program. Finished second regular season in the championship game with Weber State, going to the 3rd straight postseason tournament. So he's got it going.
You'd almost like to think get to a point where every program is kind of like what your men's hockey program is, where they'll be there, they'll be there, but it isn't easy.
No.
Even for men's hockey, it isn't easy for any of the programs.
I was visiting with a couple of hockey players earlier this morning, and it was down to the wire. I can tell you, being on the hockey committee, I was down in the bowels of the Target Center watching Wisconsin, Ohio State, and if that thing goes the wrong way, which it was, we're not going no matter what happens in that 3rd place game. And wow, but boy, when they got in there, oh man, what a great run that was. And I got Dave will probably be mad, Coach Haxel will probably be mad at me, but I've never seen Dave Haxel jump higher in my life than he did in Cincinnati. That was tremendous, and just a great run for them. And they represent so well. And the women's team, I mean, they stopped the win streak by Minnesota in regular season and took them to the wire in the conference tournament championship game. So Brian's done done a great job too.
And we won't have the problem with the women's hockey team of worrying about athletes coming back from the Olympics and being drained from that and everything else. Because there was 7 in there.
Yeah, it hurt them. It hurt them a little bit. But at the same time, that's the nature of the program, and we have other young ladies that step up and take care of business.
We have new coaches in place in volleyball. You've got a new coach in place in football. We're looking forward to this season, and hope it'll be as jovial a conversation about this next year at this time.
Absolutely.
Brian, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Brian Faison, the athletics director at the University of North Dakota. We thank him for sitting down with us, and make sure you watch your next, visit your home for all of UND teams. Visit UNDsports.com.